so proudly wailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
And
Excuse me. And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Wednesday night Racing for a Cause Super Late Models. And tonight we start up on the East Coast side of things. Rick, we've got USA.
Oh yeah, I'm very excited about this.
Yeah, picky. Hey, listen, this is our first week back. We took a week off last week, but we don't want to forget what happened in the first half of the season. The number 11 Brian Hacker ends up being the first half season champion. Comes in tonight with a 5-point lead over AJ Hamill for the overall championship. Linda, good evening to you as we get ready to go here from USA. And we want to say a thank you to Justin Rigsby, tonight's sponsor. We'll be talking to him in just a little bit. And man, it's going to be a good one here tonight. Got plenty of drivers out there getting ready to do battle here in Lakeland. And man, good stuff. A little bit longer track, a little bit over a half a mile at 0.6. Air temperature 72 degrees. Track temperature a balmy 84. Wind speed 2 miles an hour. Won't really affect these drivers out there tonight. If everything stays the way it is, should be a pretty darn good race.
Yeah, I have to agree, Chris. I mean, USA is one of my favorite short tracks out there. You know, that's not Bristol. Bristol is my all-time favorite. Iowa, close second. But USA, for this size track, man, these guys are going to have a lot of fun out here tonight. This is one of the first tracks that I ever got to drive on iRacing. And it's a lot of fun. I think, you know, the track temperature, not too warm, but we're going to see the tires wear away a little bit. But, hey, man, we're down here in Florida. We're back on the East Coast, which is the Beast Coast. That's right. We're the best coast around. And I'm excited, man. I mean, Brian Hacker pulled out a lot of awesome moves at the beginning of the season. He came to Western Championship, but coming in here tonight, like you said, only 5 points ahead of the Green Mountain Madman. So it's going to be interesting to see how this season goes for these guys.
Yeah, and I think without too much further ado, let's go ahead and grab hold of the 99 tonight's race sponsor, Justin Rigsby. Let's talk to him, find out what the deal is for tonight. Justin, Chris, Rick up in the booth. You got a copy?
I got you. What's going on, fellas?
Well, wanted to catch you before the action started heavy here. Hopefully you're in a good spot in practice and don't mind talking to us for a minute or five.
Oh yeah, I'm good to go. What's up?
All right, bud. Well, first of all, I want to thank you for sponsoring tonight's race, and then want to give you some time to talk about why you did it.
Racing for a cause. I've been running here quite a few seasons so far, man. Just a great group of guys, and they do what they can to bring awareness to multiple causes, and it doesn't really matter what it is, and there's no judgment. So I mean, I've had a couple things happen this year with people close to me, as far as losing a child during pregnancy, or even right after birth, and it's not anything you can really do to help someone when that happens. There's no words for it. It's a tragedy. And I found the Star Legacy Foundation here recently and just brought them on board as a primary sponsor for the rest of the season, and that's something that they look into. They do research and educate people on stillbirth and pregnancy loss and neonatal death, which is pretty much right after being born, something goes wrong or an illness of some sort. They're there to provide support and try to answer questions that many can't, and they're doing what they can to try to prevent that in the future.
Just a fantastic cause, Justin, and congratulations on finding that. That's really awesome. Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, I'm glad to have them on board. I always try to keep something on the car that's close to home, and like I said, I know a couple people that went through it just this year with the loss of such, and it's heartbreaking. It really is, and I appreciate Racing for a Cause putting me in a position to be able to bring awareness to such a fantastic foundation. So,
well, we've always appreciated having you out on track, Justin, and really want to give you a good old-fashioned good luck for tonight's race.
I appreciate it, Chris and Rick. Now we'll go out here and see if we can pick up a few more mile per hour.
There you go, bud. All right, good luck to you.
Thank you.
And that is Justin Rigsby, tonight's sponsor. If you haven't done so yet, I'm certain that Rig has got a link up in the description of the race here tonight. Go ahead and click on that thing, see what you think. I do like his pit crew though. Oh, they got the three-piece suits going on tonight with the bow ties.
They do. That's one thing I was going to say. And actually, this is a little change. So if you go to the sponsor for tonight's race up on YouTube, Andy didn't give me the update. So that's going to go to water.org, but I will definitely post it in the comments for people.
Oh, very good. That one hits a little close to home for me. My wife and I, our first pregnancy, didn't go to term, and there were a lot of questions being young at the time. Would have been nice to have somebody to kind of get some answers from, but very neat that that's on his car here tonight.
Well, I mean, like I said, usually we see water.org on there, but that's sort of the thing about, I mean, you and I, we started RFC with Andy. Really, it was you and I started, and then we brought Andy aboard, and we just made it grow. And these guys really, I mean, we never made it a hard rule that these guys had to put a cause on their car, and a lot of them, they just did it out of the love of being able to do that. So to have Rigsby go ahead and change that up is pretty cool. And obviously it's unfortunate that it hit too close to home, but here he is tonight. Star Legacy Foundation, the link is up in the comments. Wish Mr. Rigsby a good race. Although the car's a little beat up now, but that's okay. They can pound that out here in a second.
Yeah, it doesn't take long to pound it out here during practice, that's for sure. And he was trying to push a little harder, trying to find a little extra time. So far, his best lap, a 20.145, good enough for fourth spot here in practice. Matthew Spinks in the 35 has got top spot, a 20.068. Got one more thing to say about Racing for a Cause. I want to go ahead and congratulate Katie Dale Osmond for winning his first race of the season last night right here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Congratulations, Katie. We knew you had it in you this season. It's looking good so far, bud. Look at that, Rick. I am caught right up on what's going on in Racing for a Cause land.
You are. You really are, man.
You are surprised right now.
I'm actually I was a little bit of loss of words right now. I was like, what?
You were going on to check to make sure I wasn't telling lies.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to take a minute here to thank everybody who's come out so far for the Turn 3 Racing Network Racing for a Cause Super Late Model East Coast Edition. We're going to be here for the next, 5 more weeks after tonight, I believe. Right here on Wednesday nights, Racing for a Cause, Turn 3. It doesn't get much better than that. You know the beautiful thing about Wednesday night, Rick?
Well, besides that, it's hump day. We're halfway through the week, and everything is all downhill from here.
Okay, yeah, well, I guess you do. You stole my thunder, man.
Oh, no, Chris. What's good about Wednesday nights?
Well, we're halfway through the week. It's hump day, and it's all downhill from here for the rest of the week.
Is it now?
That's what I've heard.
That's what I've heard too.
Listeners out there experiencing deja vu.
Like, wait, I think you guys are on like Recode or something. I don't know what's going on.
Well, I took the red pill. Rick took the blue pill.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm just excited, man. I mean, having a week off, it feels longer than that. I mean, I want to say, number one, a big congrats out to Brian Hacker for taking the Western Championship. Now he's out there getting ready to battle it out here on the East Coast. Now, I love how Andy has done this. I mean, I know we got some heat racing here getting ready to start up, but, you know, just breaking things up. And right now, 19 cars scheduled to take the track here, or take the green flag tonight. So this is going to be good and interesting.
Yeah,
Flag man's out there waving that checkered flag like he's got bees all around him. We're heading into heat number 1.
So true, so true. Well, we've got 10 cars here in heat number 1, so they're going to split it up into 2 different heats here, 10 in one and 9 in the other. And I'm just waiting for some cars to hit the field. Maybe. Maybe. Rick, tell me I'm not the only one that's not seeing anybody.
Okay, you're the only one who's not seeing anybody, because I got everybody all gridded up. They're getting ready to pace, Chris. 2014 Ford Mustang getting ready to bring these guys around USA. Since you're looking at that, in position number 1, the 23, Roger Holsclaw. Next to him on the outside in position number 2, Ryan Nolan, AJ Rogers, Enrique Torres in 4th, Matt Body in 5th, Dustin Rigsby in 6th, Andrew Hill, Brian Hacker, Andy Lambert, and rounding out the field in spot number 10, James Somke.
The
good news is I can still hear you.
Well, that's something.
Bad news is you're going to miss out on all this racing, but I get to watch it, man.
Well, I don't know exactly what to do here.
Well, that's what happens when you take a half a red pill and a half a blue pill.
Oh, yeah. I know, Linda. I'm sorry, hon. Trying to fix it.
And then when you talk to KD, you give him a big congrats on his oh, I see your heat race number 1 drivers pop up there.
Yeah, no, I'm
So give KD a big old congrats for us.
not entirely sure what the heck is going on here.
You're making things bigger and smaller. Are you live?
I am live.
Says you're live. I don't know. What'd you do?
I don't know. I didn't do anything. Well,
Well, you figured that out. These guys are still pacing, but that pace car has gone down. Taking the hard left-hand turn, the green flag goes out, Chris.
Yeah, you call this one, Rick. We're going to rejoin.
All right. Ryan Nolan. Yeah, Ryan Nolan made a really good move there. He got in front of Roger Holsclaw. Right now, the 87, Ryan Nolan, or as Chris likes to call him, Nolan Ryan. Great pitcher back in the day. But Ryan Nolan hanging on strong right now, doing what he has to do. Roger Holsclaw hanging on to second position right now, but he's got the 17 of AJ Rogers right on his tail. Rogers looking on the inside here as they come down into the corner. Right now they're side by side, and AJ Rogers takes over second position. Roger Holsclaw goes down to third. Andrew Hill in the 77, he moves up to fourth place. Brian Hacker is sitting in fifth. Enrique Torres, sixth. James Somke moved up from 10th to 7th. Andy Lambert just fell down to 9th position. Justin Rigsby took over 8th from him. Not Vade. Rounding out the field in top number 10 right now. A little slow, got some damage on his car. And because of that, we are under caution.
It's all working out just as I had planned.
That's a pretty good looking schedule there. Next week we had the Lanier. Oh yeah. New Smyrna, South Boston, and Five Flags. Thank you, Andy, for not putting New Hampshire on the schedule anywhere this season.
Such a hater.
I love New Hampshire. Live free or die. The racetrack sucks though.
Uh-oh. I got more problems.
Okay, do what you gotta do.
Yeah. At least I can see cars on the track again, so that's something.
That's a good thing. Right now in heat number 1, we have our first caution here. We got about 11 laps left to go. The rundown, Ryan Nolan in first, AJ Rogers hanging on the second, Roger Holsclaw in third, Andrew Hill moves up to fourth position, Brian Hacker is still in fifth, Enrique Torres in the 76 sitting in sixth, Andy Lambert in the 72 has moved over to seventh, James Somke down to eighth, Matt Vade ninth, and Justin Rigsby 10th position right now.
Hold on, Brad. I'm coming, bud. Having a little bit of a technical difficulty trying to get it all back here so we can all watch it together. I think I had some sort of little crash that we're recovering from right now, getting ready to go back live. Oh, Lord. All right. Now we're ready to go. Let's get this thing going.
We're just having a case of the Wednesdays.
Yeah.
We were halfway through the week, but he's already used all his mind power to get to this point. Very busy day at the shop. It's a good thing.
It's a good thing. Yes.
It's a great thing.
All right. Ryan Nolan, AJ Rogers on the top. We got the 23, Roger Holsclaw, and Andrew Hill sitting on the second row as we get ready to go back under the green flag. Pace car lights are off. Cars folded in 2 by 2. And we are getting set to go right here from USA. Thank you very much for being a little patient with us. Took me a minute to get that going again, but getting going, that's Ryan Nolan's specialty, and he is gone. Heading into turns 1 and 2 on the inside. Brian Rogers trying to come down on the inside. Gives a little tap to try and find some speed. Andrew Hill looking to the inside. Couldn't do it. That was some close racing.
Very close racing, and that's something that we're going to see a lot here tonight from USA, Chris. I mean, really, if a driver can get down on the inside, they really have the lane. They take it away from the driver. And I mean, that's how AJ Rogers moved past and got into second place. He tried it again there just a little bit, but here comes Andrew Hill on the outside. Now, you can gain some momentum there, especially if a car does exactly what Rogers did there. Got a little bit loose, had to back off, but right now, Rogers sitting on the inside, trying to battle it out with the 77 right now to take over second.
Yeah, AJ Rogers able to defend. Hill has to do it a different way, but while that was going on, here comes Brian Hacker. Hacker has moved up to fourth. We saw that pass against Roger Holsclaw, and Hacker, a man on a mission. 6 laps, make it 5 to go. And Brian Hacker right to the back bumper of Andrew Hill. Ryan Nolan, meanwhile, with that clean air, he's starting to leave the field behind a little bit. Almost a half a second lead over AJ Rogers. Ooh, Andrew Hill riding that yellow curbing, making that thing turn really quick. Almost lost control. Able to hold on, though. And a 77 moving on forward. Don't want to try that one too many times. You will get that car upset. AJ Rogers trying to reel Ryan Nolan back in. Rogers has closed that gap by about a 1/10 of a second. But with only 3 laps to go, won't be enough time.
Yeah, I mean, Nolan in that clean air, man. That car is very happy there. Doing a good job. 2 laps left to go here.
Andy Lambert running a new paint scheme for the East Coast side of things. That's the Crones and Coletus car. And thank you, Andy. I see the JDRF right on the hood. Appreciate that. Mavati with a little damage to the front of his number 8. He'll have plenty of time to fix that one up as Ryan Nolan getting set to finish this one up. Through turns 3 and 4, the 87 now on the front stretch and pushes that go pedal fast. And Ryan Nolan finishes it out on top. AJ Rogers, Andrew Hill going to be your top 3. So heat 1 done with 1 caution. And Ryan Nolan takes it away. Heat number 2 coming right up. You're going to have James McIntyre Jr. and Zach Coyer making up the front row. Jeffrey Stiles and Matthew Spinks making up row number 2. Row number 3 going to be AJ Hamill and Dylan Blankenship. With the 44 of Mark Farvert starting in 7th. Rex Hoyle in 8th. And Mike Holtzclaw picking up shotgun here for heat number 2. As we get ready to go, James McIntyre Jr. going to start on the pole here. Cold Beer Coyer sitting on that outside. Again, I just wanted to apologize real quick for the technical difficulties at the beginning of heat number 1. Glad to see we got them squared away and we are ready to go. Pace car leads them down the backstretch one final time before unleashing these cars for heat number 2. This one about to get good.
That track temperature a little cooler for this heat race, Chris. Before it was about 82 degrees, then it went down to 80. Now it's sitting at 79, so definitely starting to cool down now as these guys get into the sun or into the clouds.
Pace car is off, getting ready to go. James McIntyre has control of the field. Green flag waves. We are going under the green for the first time here for heat number 2. Cold Beer Coyer trying to hold on the outside, drops it down to the inside now. Cold Beer doing this thing. Oh no, Matt Spinks gets together with, I believe, oh boy, that one happened so quick.
Happened quick. I know there's 2 other cars there.
That was the 85 of Jeffrey Stiles. Let's go back and take a peek, see what happened. Matthew Spinks was hanging on the outside. Here comes the 85. And just ever so slight contact. AJ Rogers involved with that one. Excuse me, AJ Hamill involved with that one as well. That brings out caution number 1 here for heat number 2. McIntyre resumes the lead. So each heat race has a very early on caution, Rick, to kind of get these guys warmed up for the race.
Well, you know, Chris, if you're going to have issues as a driver and the heat race is a place to do it, I mean, all you're trying to do here is just, it's their way of qualifying. So, you know, they're going to start the race. They're going to have, you know, new cars, no bangs or bruises anywhere on there.
Caution lights still on the track. The 85 moves to the tail end of the field. AJ Hamill off track on pit road. After tonight, Rick, we don't have anything to do until next Monday night.
Oh, I mean, there's plenty of things to do. I mean, I know.
Well, I mean, in iRacing land.
Oh, in iRacing land, yeah. I mean, I had a little septic issue there last week, and it'd probably be a good thing for me to bury that tank up again now that the weather's getting colder.
Yeah.
Gotta try to do that either tomorrow or definitely by this weekend, but we'll see.
After the first snow melts.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be okay. I mean, we're doing a little trick so we don't have to dig so much. We're gonna put down some foam insulation and cinder blocks, so I don't have to move so much dirt.
There you go.
Problem is, I gotta make the hole the right size to put the foam in, and yeah. And as you know, I mean, I get out of work a little bit earlier than you by a couple hours, but it gets dark by the time I'm home.
Yep.
So that might be a weekend thing.
Pace car lights are off. We're heading on down the back stretch. Cars folding up 2 by 2, getting ready to go again.
James McIntyre Jr. looking really good out there in the lead, Chris. He's got the 51, Dylan Blankenship, right behind him. And right behind Blankenship is the number 15 machine of Zach Cold Beer Coyer.
Pace car drops down onto pit road, and James McIntyre has control of the field. Green flies, and we are back racing at
live,
full
bro?
speed.
Are you live?
Oh, yeah. Now
Yeah?
I am. Yeah, sure.
Do it.
Good job.
I was like, hey.
No snow yet, Linda. We have our first storm. It's going to be starting tomorrow night. So that's going to be something. It's going to be a small one, though. They're saying a dusting to, just a couple inches. That's no big deal.
See, the great thing is we're in what they call the Champlain Valley, and so the mountains are going to get a lot of snow. I wouldn't say a lot, but they're going to get a good dumping of snow. Down here, it's going to start out as rain, and then really Thursday night it's going to turn over to snow. And they're saying 1 to 2 inches of slushy, which I don't like the slush, man.
Yeah.
I gotta make an appointment to get my tires put on, my rims painted, my bumper painted, and undercoating.
Wherever could you go for all of that work?
Well, 29 Burrard Drive in South Burlington, Vermont, of course, to Priority Auto, where they always make your problem their priority. 802-862-1168. Give Chris a call.
Voicemails will be screened tomorrow. James McIntyre up front in the 81. Dylan Blankenship holding on to second. Coyer in third. Rex Hoyle in fourth. Mike Holtzclaw trying to catch Hoyle, but he is in fifth spot right now with the 44 of Mark Farvert trying to catch him up. Four laps to go. Make it 3 when they cross the start-finish line. James McIntyre holding on to the race lead. Western North Carolina. then I think I'm going to come down and visit you if you don't mind. I hear you guys have a really long deer season. Two laps to go. James McIntyre, he's led every single one of them, even under caution. And man, he's looking good up front, able to hold on. Dylan Blankenship is trying to get there in the 51, just can't find a way around. And here comes Coyer trying for second again. Didn't have a good line to the inside.
And I know we've talked about this a lot though, Chris, but man, iRacing's done such a good job there with the weather and how everything affects everything. You see them as they go into the corner there. You see the sun glare. Just a few laps ago, it was ooh,
Whoa,
51.
got one going around at the end of this one. It was 51 of Dylan Blankenship. So top three, McIntyre, Zach Coyer, and Rex Hoyle. Blankenship comes across the start finish line a little on the sideways side. And that is gonna do it for heat racing here tonight. Just enough drivers to make it for two. We were so close to having 3 heat races. So close.
So close. Now, one interesting thing, Chris. So here we are. The heat races are done. Now we're into a 5-minute warm-up period where these guys are going to be able to go through a little bit of a driver's meeting and then do a little bit more practice now. For a second there, the track temperature jumped up to 97 degrees, but now it's back down to 75.
Yeah, I think it forgot that we were. I think it forgot that we were heading into the nighttime.
I think so too. I mean, that's just like Vermont weather, though. If you don't like it, you wait 5 minutes and it just changes again.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've talked about everything we needed to talk about. I think we got it all in.
I think we're in a good spot right now.
Yeah, I think so too. Why don't we go ahead and just step away, take a commercial break, and get ready for some green flag action right here at USA International Speedway. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for coming out to the Turn 3 Racing Network. You're watching the Racing for a Cause Super Late Model East Coast Edition, and we're going to be right back.
And he hits it again now. Rayon Fowler into the outside wall.
He's going to pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's going to get them all done with. What amazing.
Lee to the inside goes Logan Cloudman is going to touch in. Pit press sideways. What a save.
Looks to the outside as Trunkgate goes off. De Jong into second place.
Going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's howling down to the inside.
He's trying this contact though. Slide left to the racetrack. Chris Renner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that second spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact.
He's going to try and make the move around the outside the parabolica. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get the cut back here. Get the run out the parabolica. That's beautifully done there. Makashube, there's a little bit of door banging as well.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars,
and over 50 series to choose from. 6. Online World Championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
And we are back with less than 15 seconds to go before we start gridding up the field. It's going to be a good one here tonight. During practice, Ryan Nolan, top dog on the speed chart. Matthew
yeah, but he wasn't
second.
Yeah, he wasn't the only one there, Chris. Just a few laps ago, Nolan took it over, but Matthew Spinks was out there with a really fast lap, a 19.919. Yeah. Nolan finally got that beat with a 19.906. So very close out there. These guys are definitely going to be racing it hard. That track temperature goes down to 72 degrees along with the air temperature, Chris, 2 miles per hour wind speed out of the north. These guys are getting ready. Go green.
Starting on the pole tonight, driver of the number 87, Ryan Nolan, to his outside. The driver of the number 81, James McIntyre. Starting in third place tonight, the driver of the number 17, it's going to be AJ Rogers with Zach Coldbeer Coyer starting in fourth. In fifth place, driver of the number 77, it's going to be Andrew Hill. To his outside in sixth position, it's Rex Hoyle in the 54. Brian Hacker, last half season champion in the 11, going to be starting in seventh spot. Brian Hacker in eighth. Rick.
Actually, Dylan Blankenship's going to be in eighth, Chris, in that 51. Row number 5 in ninth position is going to be the 23, Roger Holsclaw. Next to him, Mike Holsclaw in the 22, going to be starting 10th. We got Andy Lambert in that number 72, starting 11th. Mark Pravert in the 44, going to be starting 12th. Row number 7 is going to consist of the 8 of Matt Vade. I can't remember how it. We always change it, man. But he's going to be starting 13th. Next to him, Jeffrey Stiles in that number 85, 14th position. James Somke is going to be starting that number 1 in 15th. Matthew Spinks going to be starting the 35 in 16th position. Row number 9, 17th position. Tonight's race sponsor, Justin Rigsby in that 99 machine. Next to him, the 18 in 18th position. That's driver AJ Hamill. And then rounding out that field, Chris in shotgun, the 76, Enrique Torres in the 19.
And
in the 76 in 19th. There we go.
There we go. And green flag is out live right here from USA. 99 laps of action around this 6/10 of a mile track. Ryan Nolan trying to lead the way around for lap number 1. James McIntyre trying to hold on to second spot. AJ Rogers in third. McIntyre moves down, so he positions himself to stay in that second spot. Andrew Hill battling it out for fourth position. Sun is starting to go down a little bit as AJ Rogers looking to try and get to the inside of the 81 of McIntyre. Rogers has position heading on to the backstretch, Rick, and McIntyre may not be able to hold on there on the outside.
Yeah, McIntyre has a lot of pressure, definitely outside of that preferred lane, Chris. Rogers able to take over second there. McIntyre falls to third. Andrew Hill trying to figure out what he's going to do. He's right behind the 17. He knows that that's where he needs to be. The 77 moves into third position. Brian Hacker the Western Championship, or Western Champion. Right now sitting in that number 11 machine in 4th position. Right behind him, rounding out the top 5, James McIntyre Jr. in the 81, but getting a little bit of pressure there by the 54, Rex Hoyle. Rex Hoyle is on the inside, which is where everybody wants to be. And he's definitely trying to work his way around McIntyre right now. McIntyre way out there on that outside lane.
Yeah, McIntyre going backwards in a hurry here, as he is trapped to the outside, hasn't been able to find a way in. Now finally does in front of the 23 of Roger Holtzclaw. Mike Holtzclaw in the 22 running 9th. Andy Lambert in 10th position. Matt Votty, he's the 8 car running in 11th. Jeff Styles behind him in 12th. James Somke in the 1 running in 13th position. AJ Hamill has made his way from 18th all the way up to 14th position. Enrique Torres has made his way up to 15th, but here comes Matt Spinks in the 35, putting a little pressure to the back bumper of the 76. Matthew Spinks, watch for him to move up through the field. One of the faster cars out there so far during all the practice sessions. Mark Farber in the 44, holding on to 17th. Justin Rigsby 18th, and Zach Cold Beer Coyer rounding out the field way back there in 19th position.
Not much has changed in the front row, Chris, as you went down through the field. Brian Nolan's still out there dominating this race so far, beating all 8 laps that have been raced so far. AJ Rogers there sitting in 2nd, catching up to the back bumper of the 87, having a hard time trying to find his way around there. Andrew Hill's right there. We know Andrew Hill. He's been around racing for cars quite a bit, and he is a good friend and teammate of the race leader right now, Ryan Nolan. But right now, Hill sitting in 3rd, Brian Hacker still in 4th. Right on the back bumper there, the 77, just waiting for Hill to make one little bit of mistake, and that's what's going to, Hacker's going to just capitalize and just go.
Yeah, Brian Hacker moves up to 4th place rather quickly here at the beginning of this one. Now settles in. As we know, we've got about 89 laps to go. No sense in beating up the equipment too early here, Rick, and Brian very good at holding on. Rex Hoyle in the 54. Last guy in the top 5. He's looking to try and follow Brian Hacker should he find a way to the inside. That's kind of what happens here. It becomes a little bit of a freight train. You got to make sure you're close enough to do it, though. And right now, Rex Hoyle definitely is close enough to be able to hold on to the back of Brian Hacker. Hacker makes his move to the inside of the 77, and here comes the 54. Man, Rick, it's almost like I was just talking about that. Andrew Hill stuck on the outside. Hill under pressure.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I mean. You can make some moves and you can be a little racy on the outside, but that preferred lane, Chris, and one of the fastest, obviously, around, especially here at USA, that inside track. Now, Andrew Hill made it work for him. He's hanging on to 4th position, with Rex Hoyle still sticking in that number 5. Rex out there feeling very, very racy out there tonight, though. It's good to see. Usually Rex is one of those guys that just kind of hangs out throughout the beginning and the middle part of the race, and then he really starts pouring it on, making his moves towards the end. But, you know, trying something a little different here now that we're on the East Coast. These guys had a week off, got some rest, got a little bit of practice in. Now they're all doing a good thing. I want to take a quick moment to thank everybody out there in Turn 3 Racing Network land. We appreciate you guys all out there hanging out with Chris and I here on a Wednesday night with the Racing for a Cause Super Late Model Series. Tonight's race sponsor, the Star Legacy Foundation. You can go to starlegacyfoundation.org. Check that out. Thank you again to Justin Rigsby, driver of the number 99, sitting in 17th position right now, Chris.
Yeah, Rigsby didn't get the start that he was looking for on this race, but again, one of the faster drivers during practice. He was, you know, in the top 5 during the initial practice session, so look for him to hold on to that equipment and slowly start to make his methodical moves towards the front. Top 4 really haven't changed, except for there's a little gap between 2nd place AJ Rogers, 3rd place Brian Hacker.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that it's been amazing watching Nolan and Rogers there in 1 and 2. I mean, they're pretty much glued together, and they're actually opening up a little gap there, just like you said there. Hacker sitting in third has got a little bit of work to do to try to catch up to the back bumper of Rogers. But he's got some help because Andrew Hill's right there. And of course, Rex Hoyle's there. Rex got the 51 behind him of Dylan Blankenship. And then it kind of spaces out just a little bit more, Chris, which is kind of interesting here at USA. You get the 81 James McIntyre. He's kind of running by himself, trying to catch up to that second pack there. He's sitting in 7th, and then there's even a bigger gap between 7th and 8th place. 8th place, Roger Holtzclaw in that number 23 machine, riding around with Andy Lambert and Matt Vade in the 8th. That rounds up the top 10.
Yeah. It's interesting that they're grouping the way they are here. And it's fairly early on, only lap 21 of 99. Andy Lambert to the inside of the 23. He makes that move. And the 8 not able to stay there. So the 8 not able to take advantage of the 23, who got a little tight. Now, looking on the inside is Vade, Vadi. Got to stay at them all. That way you know you got it right, Rick. That's the trick.
You know, we've been broadcasting so many leagues this season, Chris, that, you know, there's a lot of drivers out there that we finally get the names, or we get to talk to them, and we get it corrected, and but then we forget again. I think old age is what the issue is.
Well, Sonny, don't you know, back in my day, we ran horses around this track.
Kidding. But Matt, we love you. We're just gonna call you Matty V.
Matthew Spinks made his way up to 15th position, Rick, and the 35 still very clean. So maybe time to start putting a little pressure on. The cars are a little tight here tonight. We just saw Spinks put a little diamond on that corner. This one a little bit better, so maybe half the track a little bit more to his liking than the other. But the 35 just looking to try and find some speed. 1 and 2 definitely has to diamond that thing out just a little bit more than 3 and 4.
Well, you know, something just kind of clicked in my head, Chris. I mean, it's been a long week already. We're halfway through. We're almost there. A little bit tired, but we're all good. So one thing that, you know, like I just said, we broadcast a lot of different leagues. So, you know, Chris and I as broadcasters, especially there for like a month ago, we're, you know, running almost every night of the week. We have to learn the rules of every single league. Now, we got to remember, we're here with Racework Super Late Model Series guys on Wednesday nights. And there's no tires, man. So I think a lot of the spacing is guys just trying to save their equipment for the last half of the race.
Well, I agree with you, but you got to kind of run them when you have them too, you know?
Oh, definitely. I mean, but, you know, guys that are sitting back maybe the halfway point, you know, or even in the back, you know, if they try to pour it on, make as many moves as they possibly can, they're going to burn up those tires even quicker than the guys are just kind of hanging out. So kind of interesting. I mean, I am surprised to see the field as spread out as it is here tonight. I mean, there's some drivers out there that don't mind the old tires. They don't mind those cars loosening up a little bit. And one of those guys is actually leading the race. He's been leading all 28 laps here so far. That's Ryan Nolan. I mean, that guy could drive that thing on the rim. I mean, it doesn't matter what he has for equipment, man. He's just going to go out there, and he's a heck of a driver. So isn't Rogers, Hacker, Andrew Hill, Hoyle. All those guys, you know, I mean, they know what they're doing.
I was going to say, you could just keep going down the list if you want.
Yeah.
Blankenship, McIntyre, Lambert, Holtzclaw, Hamill, Vade, Vadi, Holtzclaw, Spinks, Stiles, Somke, Rigsby, Coyer, Favre, and Torres. I mean, look, you can't single anybody out for being a good driver. No. They're all good here.
Now, this is definitely the cream of the crop, Chris. I mean, Andy has a really good field of drivers here. I mean, they all do a fantastic job out there. And actually, you know, I want to see Andy messed up a little bit, so I just want to say congratulations to Andy Lambert, running in the top 8 right now, doing a fabulous job. Usually you're already in the pits, but hey,
wow.
I think after you rewatch this, buddy, this weekend, man, I got something that's going to even make you get up into the top 5. That's going to be a Butto race rig.
Do you think that's what it's going to take?
I know I would like him to take it out of my garage.
Oh.
Or we could bring him down to Colchester and get you back into racing.
Uh-huh. In all of my time.
Well, I mean, it can look pretty next to your desk like mine does. I mean,
yes, I'm quite sure the wife would love that, to come back here.
Well, I might have to move downstairs, but yeah, you know. Listen, it looks better in my garage than it would be in a bunch of orange buckets, okay?
Okay, yeah, I get that.
See, I just want to talk about Andy Lambert to see get some pressure going out there in track. And right now, the 72, Andy Lambert under a lot of pressure by the 18 of AJ, the Green Mountain Madman Hamill. Hamill moves up into 8th position. That means he's passed 10 cars so far.
You got that Common Core math thing going on pretty good.
You know, I've been working on this equation here and showing my work now for the last, 36 laps.
As we're working lap number 37, just to prove how good Common Core is, Ryan Nolan out front, AJ Rogers, Brian Hacker, Andrew Hill, Rex Hoyer, top 5. Dylan Blankenship in the 51, starting to catch Rex Hoyle.
And Hoyle's been doing a heck of a job, man. Like I said, I mean, a very good driver, very clean. Doesn't make himself known there until, like I said, you know, the last half of the race, but he's been up in the 5th position now for quite a while, Chris.
Yeah, and now moves down to the inside, maybe trying to take a peek on the inside of Andrew Hill, and does. The 54 there. Can he capitalize? The 77 seems to have gotten back around, but for a moment had his hands full of the 54, Rex Hoyle.
Oh, Hill just bounced off the wall. But I was just going to say, you know, Hill's one of those drivers that can actually make that outside lane work for him. He's really had to protect his 4th place there for a little while here. Working that outside, doing a fabulous job, able to clear Rex Hoyle in that 54 and move back into line.
And as all this is happening, James McIntyre in the 81 starting to close in on the back of the 51, Dylan Blankenship.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't that many laps ago, Chris, where he was just kind of running by himself, doing what he had to do, but he really shot up through the field. Got in way on the outside there.
Yeah.
I mean, right now, the top 7 cars, man, you could basically throw one big, long blanket over them, cover them all. AJ Hamill trying to work his way up, but he's got some work to do to get caught up to that group there. But right now, he's sitting there doing what he has to do in 8th position.
And Brian Hacker is starting to catch the top 2. "55 laps to go. It's been green so far the entire way. And Ryan Nolan has led them all. AJ Rogers was putting on a pretty good challenge for most of this time. He has kind of slipped back just a little ways. But I don't think he's done yet.
No, I don't think he's done either. I think what he's doing now, he's just trying to hold off a little bit. I mean, like you said, you were absolutely right, Chris. So the beginning part of this race, he was glued right to the back bumper of the 87. Now he's just kind of hanging back just a little bit, maybe trying to save some equipment just for that run. I mean, we got 53 laps left to go here. These laps have been ticking off very, very quick.
Again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in to the Turn 3 Racing Network. We're watching the Racing for a Cause Super Late Model East Coast Edition. Tonight's sponsor is none other than the 99 of Justin Rigsby. Again, Justin, thank you very much. And to check out why he's sponsoring, go ahead and click on to the link provided by Rick Hammond in chat earlier. It's starlegacyfoundation.org.
You know, the interesting thing again, that, you know, one thing that I love about Racing for a Cause, I mean, we see Andy Lambert doing the same thing. You know, these guys, it's not just one cause that is close to their heart, man. They try to get the word out for anything that means a lot to them. Usually we see the 99 in the water.org machine, but this season, for this half of the season, he's running with the Star Legacy Foundation. Paint looks good. 99's looking nice and clean sitting there. He's in 15th position.
And we're over halfway done with this one, Rick.
Yeah, boom, just like that. Not much has changed down through the field, Chris, but I'll run through it really quick. Ryan Nolan still leading the pack here tonight at USA International Speedway. AJ Rogers in second, Brian Hacker in third, Andrew Hill in fourth, Rex Hoyle rounding out that top five. Then you got Dylan Blankenship, James McIntyre Jr., AJ the Green Mountain Madman Hamill, Matty B, Bade Body in ninth, rounding out the top 10. Andy Lambert doing a good job. Matthew Spinks moves that number 35. He's sitting in 11th position now, Chris, working his way up through the field. Roger Holsclaw in the 23 and 12th. Jeffrey Stiles in the 85 and 13th. Zach Coldbeard Coyer in that number 15 machine, sitting in 14th position. 15th belongs to the 99 of Justin Rigsby. Mike Holsclaw got that 22, sitting in 16th position. James Somke in the 1 in 17th. Mark Rabert in the 44, 18th. And Enrique Torres rounding out the field, one lap down right now, in that number 76 in 19th position.
Yeah, Torres right now
Andrew Hill
just trying to stay out of the way in his 76 as some of these faster cars going down to the inside. Andrew Hill was the call from Rick. You see damage on the right front fender. That wheel poking out just a little bit there since the fender is crushed in.
Yeah, Hill got really close to that outside wall, banged off from it just a little bit. But it's all good. These things, these super late models, man, you can beat them a little bit. But with that little bit of loss of momentum, Brian Hacker, AJ Rogers, and Ryan Nolan starting to pull away a little bit. Ooh, the 77 gets a little loose there. That's going to allow Rex Hoyle, who's been sitting in 5th position for most of this race here, to move up to 4th.
Yeah, tires look like they're starting to go away on Andrew Hill's number 77.
I noticed a few drivers changing lines a little bit. The 77 bounced off the wall once again.
Yeah, it's getting tough out there.
Well, that track temperature with these guys laying down some rubber and putting down some laps, Chris, moved up to 81 degrees. So that's almost 10 degrees from the start of this race here. That air temperature sitting at 71. Wind speed still 2 miles per hour out of the north.
And the lights are on. The sky isn't completely dark yet, but the lights are on here in USA. And Ryan Nolan starting to pull away. He's got a 1 second lead now over AJ Rogers. And here comes Brian Hacker. Hacker looking to the inside. The number 11, the first half of the season's champion, gets around Rogers for second spot. Big move out of Brian Hacker. Rex Hoyle still holding on to 4th, and Andrew Hill trying to figure out a new line to make that 77 turn. The 51 of Dylan Blankenship, the 81 of James McIntyre Jr. right on his bumper.
Now, one interesting track fact about USA International Speedway, Chris, it opened up in 1995. And actually, a few years ago, when the wife and the kids and I went down to Daytona and to Orlando, Cocoa Beach area, we actually went to Lakeland just to kind of see where the track used to be. Now, this track is no longer around. It's just a vacant lot now, not far away from the, I think it was called the Lakeland Motorsports Park. And so, I mean, it's great that iRacing, you know, scans these tracks before they're totally gone. We get to enjoy some good racing, and these guys have been putting on one heck of a show here tonight from Lakeland.
So good to have tracks like this and others that have started to disappear across this country preserved in some format or another. And the best way to do it right here on iRacing, Racing for a Cause, putting this track to the test here tonight.
Now, I think we need to start a GoFundMe page so that way we can get Thunder Road here in Barrie.
Oh, that would be so
I
good.
mean, it would be awesome if they could, you know, get Catamount Stadium back, but, you know, that's nothing but a grass field and a drug distributor. As in pharmaceutical.
Pharmaceutical, yeah.
Pharmaceutical, yeah.
I want to clarify that.
But one thing I love, dude, my 9-year-old daughter, Paige, you know, I took her over to where it used to be, because you can still see a little bit of the track if you use your imagination, which 9-year-olds are amazing to do. You know, she loves going there. She asks every now and then when she wants a little bit of daddy-daughter time. She's like, "Can you just bring me to the racetrack, Dad?" And I'm like, "Okay, you want to go to Thunder Road?" She's like, "No, to the one right by home." And we'll walk around, and she'll find a chunk of the track laying around somewhere. She'll be like, "Can I take it home?" So I got about 6 or 7 chunks of Catamount Stadium in my room, in her room.
I miss that track. Really, really miss that track.
I was really young, but I remember it, and it was good. I mean, I'm happy to see Thunder Road doing so well. I kind of wish it was the other way around. You know, if I got to speak from the heart, kind of wish Catamount was still around, and that's just because I'm from the town, you know.
Well, you know, I wish they were both still up and running and thriving, but yes, Thunder Road is doing just that. And every year, at least 1 or 2 NASCAR guys comes up and puts themselves to the test, and it's fun to watch them not win against our boys up here.
I think that can be said for, you know, pretty much any local short track around. You know, when the big names come, they don't do all so well, you know. That puts a little pride. We get some great local drivers. But man, lap 71 of 99. Working on 72 now of 99. Ryan Nolan just pulling away with this thing, man. Has led every single lap so far.
Yeah, all 71 laps he has conquered, and now make it 72 as he goes across the start finish line to start lap number 73. And Ryan Nolan really is starting to pull away with this one. Rick, you're not wrong. 2 seconds the call back to second place runner, the 11 of Brian Hacker.
Yeah, Hacker was just able to get around the 17 of AJ Rogers. Now the thing that's coming into play here is some lap vehicles, Chris. These guys moving down 1 lap down, which right now Mike Holskla is that man that everyone's trying to get around, and kind of splitting the field up just a little bit, giving Nolan a little bit of a buffer. We've seen this so many times here when Hacker, when he starts working his way up towards the front, man, he's just going to start going. So I think within a couple more laps, we might see him catch up to Ryan Nolan.
Rick, I mentioned it earlier. Next Monday night, we're going to be right back here in the booth making a call for the National Speed Association as they start their chase. 3 more races to go for them guys, and their season will be all done.
Yeah, I mean, that season going quick, Chris. Next week, we are at Michigan, like you said, to start the chase. Then we're going to be heading to Myrtle Beach and then finishing out the season at Homestead.
That Myrtle Beach race, that's going to be very, very interesting.
You know, as soon as AJ Hamel put out that schedule and asked us to broadcast, man, that was one that I mean, they're running the A cars. So, I mean, number one, Myrtle Beach is kind of a cool track anyway, especially when you're running like the Legends, the Modifieds, the late models, super late models. There's a lot of fun on that track. I just can't wait to see those A cars out there. Kind of getting back to the grassroots of NASCAR.
I wish NASCAR would figure that out.
Well, you know, there is a Vermonter at the helm now. Well, he's trying. He understands that we got to bring some more short tracks, and I hear 2020 and 2021 going to be looking really good for NASCAR with some of those changes. So it's a start.
We're watching Matthew Spinks get around this 6/10 of a mile track. He has worked his way up the 10th spot. He's got Matt Votty in 9th right in front of him. Andrew Hill has slipped all the way back to 8th spot as the 18 of AJ Hamel was able to get around. Now Hamel kind of trapped in by a couple of cars who are laps down. A lap down. The 18 to the inside of the number 22. And AJ Hamel gets around Holtzclaw. Now he's got to work on the 1 of James Somke. These cars definitely not handling like they were at the beginning of the race. Man, they have slowed down a lot here around this track. Almost a full second, maybe almost 2 seconds, excuse me. No, 1 second. 1 second.
1 second, yeah. So far, the fastest lap here tonight during the green flag race, the main event, Chris, was on lap number 2 by Andrew Hill with a 20.074. And if you kind of look at his speeds now, Andrew Hill, like we said, he's been having some issues, fell back down to 8th position. His last lap, a 21.068. Yeah, Brad, like I said, we agree, man. I mean, you know, you got to have change every now and then. And I know, as, you know, I'm not sure how old you are, but, you know, I'm in my 40s, so isn't Chris. And, you know, we've been through that era of NASCAR where we saw the greats, you know, the Dale Earnhardts, Jeff Gordons, Kawicki's. There's so many different great drivers, you know, and they're kind of gone. And then you look at what we have today, and it's like, man.
LeBon,
really,
Allison, Petty.
Petty, yeah, all of them. I mean, and now you look at what we have today, and it's not the same. I mean, it's a whole different driver class. There's a couple of the old timers hanging on, if you can really call them old timers. I mean, I guess they are now. But, you know, they're all running the same cookie cutter tracks. And granted, as a driver in the sim, I love, you know, the 1.5 miles and stuff like that. I honestly do. I love super speedways. Those are my favorite, obviously. But you know, NASCAR's got to get back to the roots, get back on those short tracks, open it up a little bit. Okay, so you know, been following NASCAR long enough. You know, I mean, we can talk about the point, the way that they do the, you know, the chase and all that stuff, and you know, that's all good and fine if they want to do that, but they just got to get off the tracks. I mean, one thing, there's so many great tracks out there in the United States that there's no reason why we should be visiting tracks 2-3 times a year. I mean, I don't get it. We've seen a lot of great tracks die. I mean, look at Rockingham, look at North Wilkesboro. You know, you bring them babies back, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah, I say bring back some short track racing. Bring back a different look. The chase format, it's interesting to a point, but here's the problem that they get. And it happens every single year. Did you see the stands? They're empty. Do you know why? Because somebody's driver isn't able to win the championship anymore. That chase format it's the death of NASCAR. I can't stand it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you know, okay, it might work, you know, for some people, makes it maybe, it almost, I don't want to really say dumbs it down, but that's the only word I can think of, you know. And they try to add a little element. They're like, well, every other sport has some kind of playoff. Well, okay, I understand that, but you know, you could still call it a playoff when you have drivers out there. I mean, you know, it used to be all about consistency. It didn't matter. I mean, I remember Dale Earnhardt when I was young talking to reporters, and they're like, you know, it doesn't matter if you don't win every week. You know, and I remember him saying this. He's like, it's all about consistency. If I can consistently go in and run races in the top 5, then I'm gonna have a shot for the championship. And you know, when you have a driver, and I'm not gonna name any names, but when they're out for multiple weeks with a broken leg and they come back and they win their only championship, I will say that, you know, and do that, to me, that's just not right. You got guys that are out there doing what they have to do week in and week out. Big teams, you know, I remember when it was only 2-3 cars per team. Now, you know, you're seeing 4, and you got other little teams that are being an alliance with, you know, blah blah blah. It's not fun anymore.
Yep. Break up the teams, get rid of some of the money out there, bring back engineering, you know, a guy with a car, shaping it, molding it, figuring out a way to make it faster than the other guys. That's what NASCAR was about. And now it's about who has the most money, and unfortunately it's been going that way for a long time. Even when we were younger, Rick, but
yeah, too long.
You know, it's a real shame. And you know, don't make the cars look the same. If it's a Ford, make it look like a Ford. If it's a Chevy, make it a Chevy. You know, it is what it is. Anyways, 5 laps to go, and the 87 has led all 94 that we've completed. Make it 95 as he crosses the start-finish line, and make it 4 more laps to go. Ryan Nowlan has a 2.8 second lead over Brian Hacker, but Hacker just continues to be very, very consistent. We talked about that already. Consistency is king, and running in second spot, that's going to be a great finish for him, providing nothing happens to Ryan Nowlan here in his number 87. We've got 3 laps to go, and I have a cat on my lap who decided it was time for some petting.
Hi, Zeus.
My big boy.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of funny because Pops the other day on Facebook is like, hey, did you see the new NASCAR Camaro that's coming out? I'm like, yeah, the first 20 inches of that car looks like a Chevy, but the rest of it looks like every other car out there on track. But man. So one big thing about here tonight in USA, Chris, so you just talked about Brian Hacker, 5 points ahead of AJ Hamel. Well, the 18 has moved from 18th position now with only, what, 1 lap left to go, final lap, up into 4th position. So them points are going to still be tight out there.
Yeah, that's exactly what AJ Hamel needed to do. And we are coming around turns 3 and 4 for the final time here tonight. And it is going to be Ryan Nowlan, your race winner. Photography happening at a turn 4. That was pretty cool.
Another cool thing that iRacing has thrown in there.
So congratulations to your top 3. It's Nowlan, Hacker, and AJ Hamel sneaks out a 3rd place finish at the end. So very minimal damage done for AJ Hamel as he's trying to catch Brian Hacker back up in the points. Look at the brake rotors glow on that number 87 as he begins to celebrate.
Oh, he finally put a scratch on that car there by hitting the outside wall. But Chris, he already went through the top 3. So then 4th place, Dylan Blankenship. 5th, Rex Hoyle. 6th, James McIntyre Jr. Andrew Hill brings a 77 in 7th position. Matthew Spinks did a good job getting up there into the 8th position. Matt Vade in the 8th and 9th. AJ Rogers fell down to 10th, Chris. Andy Lambert had a good run here tonight. Finished 11th place. Zach Coldbeer Coyer in 12th. Justin Rigsby finished 13th. Jeffrey Stiles 14th. James Somke 15th. Mike Holzclaw 16th. Mark Pravert in the 44 17th. Roger Holzclaw brings the 23 into 18th position, and rounding up the field the 76th of Enrique Torres in 19th position.
Very good stuff. And I think we can go ahead and start talking to some of these guys here.
Are you not going to play the music, man?
No, we're going to go right into it. Look, they just gave us 99 laps of green flag action all the way. The least we can do is continue on. No caution flag from the booth. Let's get AJ Hamill going. AJ, this is Chris and Rick up in the booth. Do you have a copy?
Yes, sirs.
Well, buddy, a third place finish, and you had your hands full all night long, moving from 18th all the way up to third. You snuck it out right at the end there.
Yeah, I don't usually brag, but I'm pretty proud of that one.
Yeah.
That was yeah.
That's a big move and mitigates a lot of the points damage that you may have seen coming into tonight. You guys separated just by 5 points coming in tonight. Of course, I'm talking about yourself and Brian Hacker. Then you finished second and third here on track.
Yep, only going to be a -1, which is pretty good considering couldn't get out of turn 2 before the second row ended my heat, and had to start on the rear. Nowhere to go, nothing you can do. Just one of the words I'm looking for. I can't say them. Not about those guys. Just the attitude you got to get into, the zone you got to put yourself in, and let's say you put them on the dash. Let's use that one.
Yeah. Well, I can say the words for you if you want. I mean, it was.
Well, that was during the wreck. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, but third place finish, and I know you have a sponsor on that car that you would like to thank. Anybody else?
Sure, we got the Center for Whale Research again. Anybody watching this week that wasn't here 2 weeks ago, check those guys out. Ricky, find my website for me again while I'm talking, because I don't remember it.
Don't remember your own?
I'm going to have some whales.org.
Something like that, yeah.
It might be on the car, but anyway, the Pac Northwest Orca resident pod that feeds on salmon and whatnot up there. They live in Puget Sound, Sailor Sea, having some population numbers. I think they're on endangered species list, or they should be. There's only like 73 of them left. Overfarmed, overfished, whatever word you want to use, by the SeaWorlds of the world 40 years ago, and still struggling. So any awareness those guys can get, I'm happy to bring it to them. I got to see a few of them a couple years ago. I was up there. It's way better than seeing them in a tank.
All right, AJ, and we did find that.
Cool.
We did find that URL. It's whalesearch.com.
Thank you, guys.
And you can also do the Orca survey. Don't forget to thank Arts Barbershop there in Morrisville, Vermont, on your deck.
Of course.
SLC,
all that.
JDRF.
You're looking at my car. I can't see it, so rail them off. Mom watching at home. Uncle Chuck watching later. Whole family.
That's right. You're welcome, folks. I haven't forgotten you. Your driver might have, but the broadcaster is on top of his game tonight.
Absolutely.
Well, I just spent 50 laps saving fuel, and then I saw those in front of me at the end and just had to go and hope for it. It looks like AJ Rogers sputtered off a 2, and I thought, hey, I get to talk about it then.
Yeah, hey, you had a heck of a race, man. You started here tonight in 18th. You finished in 3rd, so congratulations.
Thanks, guys.
All right, driver of the number 18, AJ Hamill, had a hell of a run here tonight, Rick. 18th to 3rd, just like you said. In 2nd place tonight, it is the West Coast champion, trying to do it all over again. Driver of the number 11 with a different paint job this half of the season. Brian Hacker, Chris and Rick up in the booth. Blah, blah, blah. Do you have a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, bud, a good run for you. You moved up a little bit and got into 2nd spot, but Ryan Nolan just took off from everybody before you could get there. How was the car feeling for you tonight?
It wasn't bad. It honestly wasn't one of my favorite setups. I love USA. It's one of my favorite tracks. It just, the gearing didn't quite feel right tonight, so I couldn't get off the corners the way I really wanted to, but to bring home a 2nd, I can't really complain too much, can I?
Yeah, and you gain a point on your 2nd place competitor in the overall point standings of AJ Hamill, so already off to a very consistent, well, we're just going to say you're continuing your consistency, really, is what it is.
Yeah, that's the idea. I was looking at the standings coming into the night, and we finished in the top 5 of every race so far and wanted to keep that streak alive, so glad we were able to do it. It's not going to be an easy task trying to battle Hamill the 2nd half of the season, so these little points here and there are going to hopefully count at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. And hey, I got to tell you something kind of cool. My parents got a beagle, and she is the cutest little thing, but didn't mean to jump your what you're about to do next. But yeah, I had to tell you about that. Anybody on that number 11 that you need to thank tonight?
Yeah, ever since I started with Racing for a Cause, I've been running the Beagle Freedom Project, so got them back on the car again for the second half of the season. I always let you guys know that my Beagle's always running shotgun with me, so she actually is on the paint scheme this time around. So that is my Beagle on the side of the car, and glad she could make the second half of the season with me. So shout out to them. They do a lot of cool things. Check them out online. Check them out on Facebook if you've never heard of them. Beagles are the #1 dog breed used in clinical testing and things like that. So this group tries to get them out of those situations and fostered out to good homes. So they're doing cool things. So big shout out to them. Of course, Smith Racing Inc. and the guys over there for helping out. Al Smith couldn't make it this week. He's on vacation, but I'm sure he'll be back next week. On pitroad.com, Narrative Coffee, the usual suspects that have been with me for a long time. So obviously, thanks to Andy for doing this. It's a lot of fun. Thanks to the guys tonight. It's not very often that we go caution free. So cool to see that. Glad everybody was able to race clean and keep out of trouble. And congrats to Ryan. We had nothing for him. Nobody had anything for him tonight. He just walked away with it.
Yeah, it was a heck of a race for him and a heck of a race for you. Congratulations once again for finishing in second spot tonight.
Thanks, guys.
And now, just before you go, hold on, Chris. Now, I just gave AJ crap because he doesn't remember his sponsors. So, Brian, I don't want to single him out. So, Brian, I'm going to help you out. Also, don't forget, big thank you to the High Side Graphics. I'm guessing they probably helped you with the paint job.
Yeah, they did. So, I was going to run this scheme all year long, honestly, and kind of forgot about it and dug it up out of nowhere and our week off and found it and dusted it off, and here it is. Yeah, so High Side Graphics, Spencer Swafford does a good job. So if you're looking for a paint, he's your guy.
That Mustang looks good.
It does look good. Oh, but hey, congrats, and we'll look forward to seeing you doing it once again next week.
Yeah, hopefully we can keep it alive.
Excellent. That is the number 11, finishing in second spot tonight. Driver Brian Hacker is continuing that very consistent season that he's been having all throughout. And that leaves us with just one more person to talk to. Of course, that's the driver of the number 87. And look at this. I can't even show off his car because, well, it's upside down. Ryan, Nolan, Chris, and Rick up in the booth. And Bud, it looks like you celebrated a little too hard.
Yeah, I got a little too excited there, but I was pretty happy with that performance, so I decided just to let loose in the celebration.
Well, some people would say you were excited. Some people would say you were hiding something on that number 87 here tonight because, man, 99 laps, 99 laps led. You had this whole field covered tonight, Ryan.
Yeah, I was actually really looking forward to coming to this track. I always seem to run well here, and it kind of suits my style, and had a good starting spot and decided to not save his tires as much as I normally do because it's got me in trouble a few times before just getting behind. So decided just to push a little harder, and it definitely worked out. I'm glad there wasn't a yellow though at the end. That might have been a pretty tough restart.
Yeah, well, everybody was having the problem at the end of this one. You could see the cars just kind of starting to slip and slide, and setup starting to go away on these things. But nonetheless, the 87, man, it was a strong car here tonight. 4 seconds, a little over 4 seconds actually, at the line between you and Brian Hacker. And the only guy that was really close to you throughout any part of this race was AJ Rogers in the first half or so. That 17 was all over your back bumper.
Yeah, he was, and I didn't want to. I was not pushing as hard as I could there, but I was just trying to keep him behind me, and I think he just overheated his right front eventually. But yeah, he was very strong at the start there, and I was just hoping not to mess up so he would get by, because otherwise it'd be tough to pass.
Yeah, that's one of the things about this track. It is pretty hard to pass here. The inside lane, kind of the dominant way to do it. The outside, every once in a while you can get lucky, but really only one spot to pass here, and well, you didn't have to try and figure that out tonight.
Yeah, it just worked out, and it goes to show AJ Hamill did an awesome job coming through the field. That's super impressive, and obviously he's got the passing side figured out. But yeah, I was had a lot of fun tonight. Thank AJ for running me clean, and Brian, I know he was going to be a tough challenge if we had a restart there. So I'm just glad the way everything worked out.
Yeah, no, very, very good race. Anybody else out there that you need to thank, bud?
Yeah, I gotta recognize the Humane Society. We adopted another cat. Her name's Gracie. Yeah, support your local Humane Society, and a lot of pets out there that need good homes. I gotta thank my wife for supporting me as always, and my parents for supporting and watching, and of course you guys and everyone that puts this on. It's a lot of fun.
Well, it's a lot of fun watching, and when you go caution free, man, does that make it ever so interesting? Because some part of you in the back of your mind goes, okay, where's that caution? And it just never happens.
Yeah, I was dreading that towards the end. I was just like, okay, come on, let's just get to the end. And I was kind of counting down to, I don't know, like 3 or 4 to go, because I knew if a caution came out then, the race would probably finish under yellow. But yeah, it was I'm glad it went green. It's nice to have these long runs every once in a while, and not ride around under yellow.
Absolutely, bud. Hey, listen, congratulations once again on the win here tonight. Glad to see you up front and leading around USA tonight. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you guys. We'll see you next week.
See you next week. And that was tonight's winner, the driver of the number 87, Ryan Nolan, getting it done. And then, well, having a little too much fun, as he said.
Well, that's the thing, he forgot to thank the people that made his roll cage, Chris, because he just did that whole thing on his roof. And number one, if any driver out there wants to see what Ryan Nolan does to his setup, I have pictures of the underside of his car. But also, he forgot to thank FiberFix, which is your solution to all breaks, tears, and cracks. It's 100 times stronger than duct tape. FiberFix is as strong as steel. It'll hold your roll cage together after you flip it. You can get that on Amazon, just so you folks know.
Okay, was that the only one he missed, Rick? Or
I think Club New England, one of the best clubs on iRacing.
Absolutely,
obviously. Even though he's living in Kentucky, he's still supporting us here up in New England. So got to give a big shout out to all those guys there that I usually race with in the I don't even know what split it is, whatever the bottom split is. I think it's like 99 or something like that. But we appreciate you guys hanging out here with us.
We absolutely do. And make sure to tune in next Monday night. Rick and Chris up in the booth one more time for the NSA as they get ready to start their chase format. 3 races to go there next Wednesday. Of course, we'll be right back here with the Racing for a Cause Super Late Model East Coast Edition. And for the rest of the week, I really hope you guys have the best week out there. It's going to be a good one. We're going to get a little snow up here in the Northeast, and hopefully you all have great weather. We'll take the bad one for a little while, and have yourselves a very, very good night, guys. This was a great race. Thank you.
It definitely was. And once again, thank you to Justin Rigsby and the Star Legacy Foundation. Make sure you check them out there, starlegacyfoundation.org.